everyone. We are back with Chapter 7 of I Survived the Great Chicago Fire. So now we're going to find out what happened to those two little kids. Oscar sprinted towards the house, swatting away the burning flakes that swarmed around him. He watched with terror as the fire quickly danced across the roof. Where were the kids? Why hadn't they come bursting through the door? Come on, he whispered, as though he could grab hold of them with his words, but still they did not appear. Oscar rushed up the crumbling steps and pounded on the front door. Hey, he shouted, come out! Nothing. He tried the door, but it was locked tight. Where were they? Shouts rang out from the street. Fire! 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 Oscar whirled around. Two other houses were burning like torches. The wind gusted. The flames leaped across the street. Boom! The house caught fire as if it were made out of dried straw. Any minute, this whole city would be a sea of fire. Oscar had to get away. He had to get back to Mama. But how could he leave here if those kids were still in that house? Of course he couldn't. Oscar slammed his shoulder into the door. Bam! 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 On the third try, the door frame splintered and the door burst open. Oscar stumbled in, falling to his knees. Smoke swirled all around him. He rose to his feet, gasping for breath. Hello? He screamed. Where are you? And that's when he heard them, just above the fire's roar, muffled cries coming from upstairs. Or was it just the wind and the fire fooling his ears? Was it possible the kids had escaped through another door? Oscar stumbled to the narrow staircase, peering up into the churning cloud of black smoke. Don't be an idiot, he told himself. Don't go up those stairs. Hello? Oscar called, praying that nobody would answer, that the kids were long gone, but no. Help us! Please! Shouted a terrified voice of the girl. There was no choice. On shaking legs, Oscar started up the stairs. He pulled his shirt up over his mouth and nose. It did nothing to block out the smoke. Each breath burned his throat and lungs, but the worst was the blistering heat. With each step, it grew hotter. Oscar could practically feel his blood boiling, his skin sizzling, his flesh cooking on his bones. He wouldn't last long up here. And neither would Jenny and Bruno. At the top of the stairs was a closed door. Someone pounded on the other side. Here, Jenny shouted. The door's stuck. Please help us. Oscar pushed against the door, but it wouldn't budge. Stand back, he choked. Oscar kicked the door as hard as he could. The door crashed open, releasing a wave of heat and even thicker smoke that pushed Oscar back on his heels. He teetered and almost fell down the stairs, but somehow he managed to regain his balance. Jenny came rushing out with Bruno in her arms. They were both coughing and wheezing. Their faces were black with soot, streaked with tears. Jenny was clutching Bruno with all her might, but her skinny arms were losing their grip. Oscar reached for Bruno, and to his surprise, the kid didn't resist. Oscar pulled Bruno into his arms, holding him close to his chest. The poor boy's heart was pounding even harder than Oscar's. Jenny stood unmoving, dazed and coughing. Oscar was afraid she might faint. Oscar grabbed her arm and pointed her down the stairs, gripping her shoulder in case she slipped. He followed right on her heels. Run straight through the front door, Oscar said to her. Go as quickly as you can. Jenny did what she was told, gaining strength. As they reached the bottom, Oscar put Bruno down at the bottom of the stairs and Jenny grabbed the little boy's hand. Together they flew out the door. Oscar was just steps behind them, and then crash! The window shattered. Kaboom! A giant ball of fire and cinders blasted into the room. Oscar fell to the floor, and then there was nothing but flames. And that's the end of Chapter 7. Stay tuned for Chapter 8.